Hey guys, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I have a homeschooling video for you guys today. I'm trying to put a lot of focus on homeschooling. I did that also last year, but especially this year, I'm really trying to give as much advice and looks into our homeschool life as possible, because I know more and more people are homeschooling, and more people are homeschooling for longer than they thought they were going to. And more people have found themselves homeschooling with the thought that it was temporary and deciding to make it a permanent or longer term decision. So for that reason, I'm really trying to amp up my homeschooling videos. And in particular, you guys have told me that you wanted videos about homeschooling with older kids. So if you don't know already, I have a 16-year-old who's almost 17. She'll be 17 next month. And then I have a 10-year-old who'll be 11 actually this month as I'm filming this. So I hear a lot about people wanting to graduate their kids from high school early, particularly homeschool high school. You know, 15, 16 years old, graduating from high school and going on to college. And while that is great if that's what they want to do and that's what works for them, graduating my kids from high school early has never been on my radar. And in fact, in my opinion, it's not something that I feel is a benefit, not something that I want my kids to do, because I feel like the negatives of graduating them early outweigh any positives there might be. I just want to kind of give you like my thinking behind it and why we have made this decision, so that you can make the best decision for you and for your kids as possible. So the first most important reason why I don't want either of my girls to graduate from high school early is because I want them to have as much time to grow spiritually as possible and become strong in their convictions as possible. Obviously, as a Christian and a believer, you know, you're growing and you're changing and you're being tested your entire life. Your faith and your foundation and trust in God is being tested your entire life. I think if anything, 2020 showed us all that a lot of us have been shaken in ways that we've never been shaken before. And it was really a true test of our faith and our hope and everything in God. So obviously you're going to have those challenges and those tests your entire life. And in some ways those tests are important. They are important, and I don't think you shouldn't have them. But I think you should be as prepared as possible before you experience some really big challenges. So even if it's just an extra year or two that I'm able to keep my girls, you know, home and in high school and under, you know, my supervision, as much control over what they're learning as possible, you know, all those benefits that come from homeschooling, I want to have as much time with them as possible before I say, okay, now you're going to go to college. Now you're going to have more opportunities to make mistakes. Now you're going to have more temptations than you've ever had before. Now you're going to be taught things in college that go against what we believe as Christians. There's going to be so many opportunities that are going to test them. And like I said, I think those tests are important and I think they're necessary, but I think it's just as important to be as prepared as possible for those tests as you can be. And I think for us, being able to keep them home as long as possible is the best way to do that. So that's the main reason. The second thing on a more frivolous side is I want them to be able to enjoy being kids as long as they can. Obviously, once you graduate high school, life goes from about 20 miles an hour to 60 miles an hour. And you guys know this. If you graduate high school and you go to college, you usually get a job, or at least a more serious job. And they have their whole lives to further their education and to have a, you know, reliable career and things like that. While they're young, I want them to enjoy their time being young. I want them to have their summer vacations off. I want them to have a more flexible schedule, and I just want them to enjoy being a kid as long as possible, because we all know as adults that once you graduate high school, it's pretty much adult mode from then on and kind of nonstop. And I think it's important for them to have as much of a childhood as possible before they have to head into the serious stuff. And I think the serious stuff's important. Just like I mentioned earlier, I think those challenges to your faith and your morals are important. And I think growing up and being responsible is important as well. But I think you should also have as much time to be a kid as possible, because you spend more of your life being an adult than you do being a child. So for us, I think that's the reason why I never wanted to overload them with schoolwork to get them graduated early, because after high school, most of that stuff goes away. And the third reason, and if you're looking at this from a financial standpoint, dual credit is a huge opportunity for homeschooling and public school kids. Dual credit is basically where a child is taking college classes in high school that count for high school, but they also count for college. And the benefit of dual credit classes financially is it is so much less expensive to take a dual credit class when your child is in high school than it is if they took that same exact class once they graduated high school. It's a fraction of the cost, and the only difference is it's because your child is taking it in high school versus taking it in college when they're graduated from high school. And if you're rushing your kid through high school, you're wasting those 1, 2, 3 years of opportunity. You could be taking these college level classes at a reduced rate because your child is still technically a high schooler. You're wasting those years rushing them into college just to pay full price for those same exact classes. So that's my opinion on why it is important to utilize every single second of their high school career, because all these reasons I think are really important. But if nothing else, financially, it's a huge blessing to be able to take college level classes at a fraction of the price while they're still in high school. So those are my 3 main reasons why we never have intended to or wanted to graduate our kids from high school early. That's what we've done with my oldest. The same is going to hold true for my youngest. I realize some people want to do that. Some kids and some parents want to rush their kids through to get them off on the road to independence and get them into college sooner and graduate earlier than their other peers and have a degree by the time they're younger than their peers. But to me, these reasons why we have chosen not to do that are more important and are more important than those few benefits they may get from graduating early. So I just wanted to give you guys my 2 cents. I have gotten that question before, and I've seen kind of that topic floating around on YouTube and on just the internet in general, like to graduate early or to not graduate early. This is my opinion on it. These are my reasons why we don't agree with it. But like I said, at the end of the day, you guys have to make the decision that's best for you. You have to make the decision that you think is best for your kids. Your kids obviously are going to have a say-so in what they want to do, and if that's what they want to do and they're willing to put in the work, then by all means, you guys decide together if that's something you think is a good choice for them. But these are reasons why I don't think that it's a good choice for us. So just throwing that out there. I hope it was helpful. If it was, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out my description box because I will link my homeschooling playlist. That dual credit video is in there, as well as like hundreds of other homeschooling videos all about homeschool curriculum choices, homeschool reviews, day in the life videos, homeschool room tours, homeschool motivation, homeschool mom life. Everything homeschool related is in that playlist. I think you'll want to check it out to get more videos about tons of different homeschool topics. If you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that before you head out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.